Welcome to It's Alaska, where we learn about Alaska, the good stuff, the crazy stuff, and the oh my God, I didn't know. I'm Brett Erickson, your host, and the lovely Blaze Bell. She's the eye candy. So if we could do more camera work here, that would be great. And our guest, good-looking guy. Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
You know, Matt, we didn't need any confirmation. Let me tell the jokes. We don't need any confirmation from you on those, please, sir. Can we bring in our next guest? Do we have? We don't have another one? Okay. All right. Well, we got Matt Worden. Got kicked off the podcast. It was the shortest podcast ever. We got Matt Worden from Go Hike Alaska. And that is a big, well, how big is the company? I guess like it's a big company. Well, how big is it?
Oh my God, you're looking at him right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, right now it is just me, but in the summer we ramp up, right? So headed in the winter here, you're looking at them. You know, I got a couple of people who are going to help me out with some stuff on a fill-in basis. But
so like during the summer, like during this past summer, how many people, did you have other people taking people tours on hiking tours, or was it just you?
Yeah, I had 4 full-time employees. And,
okay.
You know, we're going to kind of get into it, but I have 2 other businesses as well. So I'm able to hire folks on a hybrid basis. So the 4 that I had were doing different things. They were working for the other businesses as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So this is, you know, I don't know if a lot of people in other states ask, you know, what's your Florida story or what's your Minnesota story or what's your Iowa story? But we always hear this because Alaska is such a unique place. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. It takes effort to come here. It takes effort to live here. It's awesome, like no other place in the world. But what's your Alaska story? How did you get up here?
How did I get up here? Okay, well, 14 years ago, I decided to come up here. And before I arrived, I was living out in Dover, Delaware.
Okay.
I was stationed out there in the Air Force. And
military. Okay. That's a common story for a lot of people. So you weren't ever stationed up here. You were in Delaware, or have you been stationed up here?
Despite all my effort to leave that base, no, I didn't make it up here. I came up here because people who I served with kind of described what type of place it was. And because I'm, you know, an outdoorsy dude and I like adventure, you know, they were like, well, why don't you go check it out? And I'm kind of an impulsive guy. You know, I didn't have anything going for me at the time other
Not
than
married, no kids.
Well, I met this gal out there and we got married right before I got out. So, you know, like I had my GI Bill. I could go anywhere and use that. And I was ready to go do an MBA. So it didn't really matter where we went. So we settled between Denver and Alaska, and her employer helped move us up here. So,
oh wow, what did she do? What did she do?
She works for the World Wildlife Fund.
Oh, nice.
And she's worked there for 18 years.
This is the perfect place for that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Works in their little field office of about 8 employees and works on conservation work. So, blessed to be up here because of them. They were the ones who really enabled us to come up here. So that's kind of the story of how I arrived. I was born in Michigan, though, so I hail from Kalamazoo. And voluntarily did I go into the military before it was not voluntary, and went on my way around the age of 20 to the Air Force.
Oh, okay. So how many years did you spend in the military? 20 years?
4 years too long. It was a total of 8. The second one I probably could not. I could have done without, but I did do 8 years, and it was a good time. Yeah, learned a lot of skills. Worked on C-5 aircraft, so I got a lot of systems now as I work on my own vehicles now, and now I got to maintain my bikes and everything. So a lot of the systems knowledge I got from working on the aircraft carries over into other areas of life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did you start Go Hike Alaska then? When did that happen?
Sure. So 7 years ago, you know, like I was working at Boys and Girls Clubs at the time. I worked there for 4 years and managed their grants funds. So all that learning I did with my MBA kind of landed me into that role. And I started getting to I started getting an itch to do something different. And, you know, over the first, 8 years or so that I lived here, I tried experimenting with doing other ventures and everything like that, and they all failed. Common story with entrepreneurs.
What was one of them? What was something you tried?
I'm hesitant to tell you, but I'll tell you the.
We're going to steal it or something? You want to try it again?
I'm going to tell you the dumbest idea I had.
Please, yes. That's what I was looking for.
It's dumb in the fact that I had no desire to do it. I just knew that we could maybe like make
There's
a
some
little
money in
side
it.
hustle,
Yeah, there's
right?
some money in it. Yeah, I hear that.
Because my wife is a conservationist, right? When we got married, she made this really cool bouquet out of buttons instead of having flowers because she didn't want to like have a bunch of flowers at the wedding. So she made a renewable button bouquet, right?
Okay.
And I was like, that is so like original and niche. And you could sell these on Etsy and just make a couple bucks on the side, right? And I definitely didn't want to do any of that. So that was like a
good idea. Try it.
So another venture, like this one, it still might happen too. But I really wanted to do a food truck because I worked in the restaurant industry for many years. And actually, when I got out of the Air Force, I worked at Orso for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I had this idea to make a food truck called Mr. Goodbite. And I did all the planning
I like it.
and all the modeling for it. It was going to be just bite-sized food.
Yeah.
And it was either going to be savory or some sort of dessert or something, but it's all just going to be bite-sized food. Hence the name Mr. Goodbite, right?
Nice. All right.
And it just proved to be a little bit too costly, and I was running out of money. I had to find a job, so that didn't happen either.
That's tough. Food trucks, I mean, to build one is $80,000, $80,000, $85,000.
Yeah, that's expensive.
And then all the permits and stuff. But so you got Go Hike Alaska. GoHikeAlaska.com. So how did you start this, and when was the year that you started this?
So it was 2018, and how it originally like transpired. I like telling this story too of like when the thought hit my mind, but it was because of this cat that I had for like 13 years, oddly enough, right? And he was getting to the end of his life, and I got to that moment. I never had a pet die with me before, just me, right? It was my cat, right? Made the trip up from Delaware and everything. I know it's just a silly little cat, right? But I was
like 13 years. I mean, that's a big chunk of your life.
Oh my God. Like my J boy is gonna die, and I was like, I got to go on this long hike, and I went out for a day and went out for like 10 hours. And for anybody who spent some time in the Chugach Mountains, you may know the route that I'm referring to, but the Willowa Lakes route that leads into the ball field in Little O'Malley.
Okay,
I did that day. Nice. And when I was up on the ball field going back, I just had this like thought creep into my mind. I was like, dude, you love, because like since I've been up here, I've just been infatuated with hiking, right? I'm an Eagle Scout. I love spending time outside. And that's when the idea hit me where it was like, why don't I just take people out and show them the Chugach State Park? That's when it happened, right? Because
and there was nobody really doing it at the time? Were there any companies that you knew of that you looked at? And
yeah. So like I started looking into that right afterwards. And there was the presence was really limited, right? There was a sending path and Alaska it was the Chugach Guides. I can remember those two businesses were actively marketing that they were doing stuff. But this was the funny thing, right? Like as part of starting up, like I contacted a bunch of businesses around here, including those two, to just kind of like figure out ways if we were going to partner or just introduce myself. And if I find out that Chugach Guides is like done, they're selling, and Ascending Path decided to relocate to Girdwood, which left a huge hole. Yeah. And between the opportunity that lies in there and just kind of looking at the market and tourism in general, I was like, well, there's a good chance that I can at least get some traction with doing some hiking tours around here. And I'll just throw this out here too. I think part of the process that was kind of fun too was I was like guided hiking tours, right? Like, is that something that people actually do? So I started looking for hiking guide jobs around the state of Alaska. And I want to say only two popped up. There was one for guiding on the Chilkat or Chilkoot Trail. And then something with Talkeetna Guides up in Talkeetna, but nothing around here. But I was like, you know what? It looks like that there's jobs to be had. So had a little bit of reinforcement there as well that people were actually doing this type of work.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that would be huge in Alaska, especially in the summertime. I'm surprised there's not like multiple groups doing it.
It still surprises me. I talk to people from
like
time to time.
Is it because it's a lot of work? I mean, hiking isn't easy,
I think like finding your piece in where you fit in with the market too. Like the market share is is difficult with that one. I've talked to so many different people, from the president of Alaska Trails to a couple of people I worked with on the Citizens Advisory Board for the Chugach State Park, and all have mentioned, oh, there have been people who came before you who tried to set it, as you saw with Chugach Guides and Ascending Path, and they're like, every person who comes into Chugach State Park for some reason ends up like, for one reason or another, like doing something a little bit different. So it's been thrilling, and I'm blessed to be able to have stuff that has stuck. And I really think like coming in at the time that I did and getting the traction in the way I did and building the partnerships the way I did all contributed to the initial success of landing us here.
Yeah.
And now it's solid, like, so I don't have to worry as much as about another competitor coming in, There's other people doing little things here and there, but yeah, sure.
Nice. Okay, so it's growing, and that's huge. So how does someone book? Like, I'm down the lower 48 and I'm thinking coming to Alaska. Go to your website or call you. How does that process work?
And, that's always the preferred way. It's always the preferred way. We like when people contact us directly. We can save them processing fees, offer them the lowest fare, and we don't have to worry about commission or anything. Not that that's a bad thing. So it's, working directly with us through a website, gohikealaska.com, is always the best way to do it. And we also work with a ton of partners, right? Like we work with what we call OTAs, or online travel advisors, like Viator and Get Your Guide. Those guys like to charge a lot of commission, but they bring in a lot of business too. Okay. So that's really an easy way for people to find us. And then there's like travel advisors that work here in town. So you're familiar with Salmonberry Tours, and
they do a great job. And they do a great job of just, their own things as well. So they're a great partner. Yeah.
So like entities like them in Alaska Tour and Travel, Alaska Private Touring, a bunch of local resellers and non-local resellers offer our product too. So there's lots of different ways for us to work our channels for people to find us. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
Nice. You have a question over there in your little your notes there?
Not in my notes, but you mentioned you have some other businesses as well. We'll come back to the hiking because it's adventure-y, but what are your other businesses right now?
It's kind of funny, like going through this and talking about each one of them. I had the former owner of Lifetime Adventures. A lot of locals may recognize the name Lifetime Adventures. Yeah. We're really well known out at Eklutna Lake as being the bike and rental the bike and kayak rental shop. I don't like referring to it as that. Well, we're going to come up with a different name here in the next couple of years.
Why?
Because I got one that's going to work a little bit better. So
I love a straightforward business name. I want to know exactly. I like it.
One that's going to identify a little bit better.
Okay.
So we'll keep it like held tight a little bit for right now, but it'll be really fitting when it does happen, because I have some plans for what I'd like to see that operation at Eklutna become. But Eklutna is pretty interesting too, though. And actually, let me go back. I was talking to the former owner, right? And he represented our brands, all three of them, at the Alaska Travel Industry Association convention last week while I was in Hawaii or whatever. And I saw him yesterday, and he was like, "So how do you like tell people about all three of your brands?" Because like people start losing interest, and because it's like so much to just like we just spent like 10 minutes talking about Go Hike Alaska. So it's like, yeah, let me kind of just like summarize real quick. Lifetime Adventures is at Eklutna Lake. We just talked about bike and kayak rentals. Oddly, so this is kind of an interesting thing, and you might expect to hear this, but with Go Hike Alaska, and then we'll drop the other one in, Alaska Trail Guides, that's the third business. We see about 90 to 95% out-of-state visitors to local, whereas out at Lifetime Adventures, we see about a 50-50 split. And that's because the former owner, Dan, did such a great job at bringing in the local market here to experience his services that that we have that type of mix, which is really, really good for business. Not only do we do rentals out there, we do guided tours, and we have large groups that will come out there to us. So Premier Alaska.
How big of groups do you do?
I did one of the craziest experiences I've had running that business was I did a group of 92 this summer.
That's a big group. Just you?
It was
Okay.
I'll never forget July 17th. That was a monumental day. I think I had like 20 guides working across Alaska that day.
Wow.
And we had about 10 of us out at Aklutna to do that group of 92. So that was a big group. I don't always get 92. They're usually like 20 to 40 is what I see. And just for an example, we work with Premier Alaska, and they send to us Adventures by Disney Cruise Guest. And that's if you didn't know, Disney actually packages together land-based excursions for people. So
that's the Princess Company, right? Is that the Princess Cruises?
It's actually not. It's Disney.
It's Disney itself. Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
group tours, we do.
Does Mickey come with it? Do you get him hiking with, or Goofy?
We got some Mickey Mouse lights that we can. Since we have no power out there, you got to plug it into the battery pack. But it's always fun trying to make things happen out there without any power or water. But
what is the wildest hiking story that you have?
I'm so glad we're getting into that. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so hard to think of what it is. So are you familiar with Trail Tales?
I'm not.
Trail Tales is an event that happens every month in Alaska Alaska Trails, the organization. They hold this event. I don't know if they're still using the Alaska or the Anchorage Museum. But
entries, but like stories.
Yeah, and they have a lot of people in the adventure community that come there and tell their story and whatnot. And like 1 year into it, the former president Steve Cleary asked me to come and speak, and I was like, "What am I going to talk about?" And then I remembered the first 3 days on the job of learning how to guide, because I had never guided before. I was just going to go and make it happen the best way that I thought.
Nice, just do it.
Just do it. So the first day was kind of like it was more of like an eye opener of like, maybe we shouldn't do something here, right? Like the guest got really upset that we went to the Turning Arm and everything like that, and he was like, let me talk to you for a minute. And he really just, it was very assertive the way he spoke to me about the tour or whatever. And I was like, fine, I'm expecting that, like the first day, sure. Maybe you could expect that. Now, the second day, that's where things started getting a little bit interesting. I took this, Dana and Gail, I still remember their names. This is like 6 years ago, right? And we did another section of the Turning Arm. And we were going from McHugh Creek to Rainbow. And I don't know if you know anything about it, but the last mile, the last mile or so going from McHugh Creek, you go into Rainbow, it's down 1,000 feet in elevation.
Yikes.
And
you have to walk down that?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing it from that direction, right?
Or you just fall down it.
That was one of those moments where I should not have taken her down there, but I did anyways. So on the way back, about 2 miles from the vehicle, she started throwing up, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I worked this lady to death, right? So she starts throwing up. She's getting cramped and can't walk and everything. And it took me everything
How old was she?
She was in her 50s.
Okay.
And I was like, well, just going to motivate her to get her back and everything, just get her a little bit of water here and there. And she did. And it was so cool when she was done. She left me this really nice testimonial and everything about the motivation aspect of it and everything like that, even though she was just like, I know, right?
It was just like college.
And then the third day, and I'll make this kind of short so you can get in other questions or whatever, but I had two people, they wanted to go on a strenuous hike, so I took them up Bird Ridge, right? And Bird Ridge is a 3,500-foot climb, and a lot of the people who live in Alaska are like, oh, those are we can do those hikes or whatever. And I had this guy who was in his 60s, and he was a competent hiker. He made it up he made it like 90% of the climb, but Alaska, what it does in its finest with its weather, right? Like it turned on a dime.
Yeah, it's 65, 70 degrees, and then suddenly it's 55.
Dude, I saw the
raining.
black cloud coming in across the turning an arm, and I'm like, we got to get down. And we start heading down, and it's pouring rain on us. And his name was Terry. He went head over heels on that mountain. I saw him doing somersaults. I was like, oh Lord.
So he's falling down a mountain.
He's falling down, and he stops or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, I had the flashback. This is my third day. I'm like, am I really doing the right thing here?
Third day of business. Yes, I can see where I'm killing people. I need to revisit my business plan. Yeah,
dude, it was so funny though, because like we got him down. He was like, okay, they didn't break any bones, thank God, or anything like that. Wow. And he was like, well, I guess that's just how hiking Alaska is. I got to get used to it. And I'm just like, oh my God, no, that's not like how it always is.
But you've changed that too, obviously, because a lot of the tourists here are people that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And there's, obviously there's things that they can do, or just people in general, things they can do and can't do. So how do you say, exactly. Yeah. Some people are in better shape than others. I
made a shift, right? So at the beginning, we were doing these hikes based on where you go, the location, everything. So we were marketing it as like turning it in rainbow to windy. And that really never made sense, because if you're looking at it, you're like, really, what is this trail? Like you could look it up already or something like that. Yeah. But it really made no sense. So about a year into it, we decided I need to define these tours as like a type. I don't know the word to describe it. Like a nature walk, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like
different levels, right?
Rather than like half-day hike or Glen Alps hike, it was like, let's just call it a nature walk and set the experience levels that you would want to see out here, and you go into depth and talk about what it is that you're doing on the tour. I think it sounds a little bit common sense, but when you're working your way through your entrepreneurship journey, not all these things like happen right at the beginning. Like you got to go through it to kind of figure it out.
That's with a lot of businesses. You have to unfortunately go through the horribleness to go, we got to change that around.
Yeah. So we made a nature walk, we made an alpine trek, a valley and forest hike. And those 3 tours right there were core. Like that's all I did. And they each were partitioned out like perfectly in terms of the pie. Like Valley and Forest Hike, I guess, does a little bit better than the other 2, but Nature Walks and Alpine are pretty much split. So I found that like those 3 tours had the attraction that we needed to carry on doing them as they are. And we found that it like we were getting the right type of people onto those tours, right? Like
the people that can handle that type of stuff. And
so that's kind of how we broke it down. And now we got foraging tours, and we have I have a 3-day and a 5-day backpacking tour.
Wow,
and everyone
so there's camping.
Yeah. Oh,
that sounds like fun and scary for me. As you can tell, I'm not much of a hiker, but you do have stuff for all different levels of folks, right? I mean, or do you sometimes say maybe hiking isn't the best for you, or is there something pretty much for everybody?
That's a great question, and kind of a good segue into Alaska Trail Guides, right? Where Alaska Trail Guides I bought this year, and that company is known for bike tours.
Oh, cool.
The Coastal Trail, we all love the Coastal Trail. The gals who built that tour, who I took over from, really did a good job in working with the cruise lines and setting up a tour that's really just good for anyone. So they're cruiser style bikes. We're probably doing an e-bike option next year, but it's cruiser style set through bikes.
I like to hear that.
And it's not uncommon for us to see 60 through 70-year-olds on that tour. We're going on an average of about 5 miles per hour. So some people can run faster than you're pedaling, right? Yeah. And what we do is we go to Kincaid Park and we ride the Westchester Lagoon.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
Simple.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice little tour. So, yes, to answer your question, we got a
little something for everybody. All right.
Something for everybody,
right. Yeah. Love it. So what's next summer? Actually, what do you do in the winter?
Snowshoeing.
Oh, yeah? Snowshoeing
for Go Hike Alaska. It's snowshoeing, and we still have some hiking tours that we can do. Yeah, and then with Alaska Trail Guides, we have fat tire biking.
Ooh, that's nice.
Oh.
Yeah,
So that's good.
I just
Yeah.
like to have a lot of fun, really.
Well, it's a lot of work too, though. I mean, that's a lot of tourism. They're starting May, early or late April, and they're done by beginning of October. But you're basically 365 then.
Yeah. I see with Go Hike Alaska that about 25% of my business comes through the months of October through April. So it's substantial. And I don't know what this winter's going to bring. It looks a little light right now, but that's what it always usually turns out to be, is about 25%. We see a lot of people over the holidays, and I did around in Fur-Rondy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't know how much snow we're going to get, if we get any. We usually get some, but sometimes we get dumped on and sometimes we don't. It's Alaska, because you don't know, right? That's the way we call it. It's Alaska. What about wildlife? That's a big question people have. It's like, okay, Alaska's like no other place, because there's bears, there's moose, there's wolves. Is there any other animals that people need to watch out for too?
Which one did you
Bees, moose, bears, and wolves. I'd say lynx, but those are they're pretty timid. Or do you have to watch out?
Someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that there's actually only been one recorded wolf attack in all of North America. Those guys like to really stay clear of us. But moose, definitely. I don't like with wildlife in general. This is kind of just a good time to break it down. Like next to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, I think we're your next best options if you're trying to see wildlife when you're coming to Anchorage. We go to the places we go to because of the wildlife viewing opportunities. Eagle River Nature Center, the Coastal Trail. We saw the most that we saw in one day on the Coastal Trail was 12 moose.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So we go to these places for a reason, and we're constantly seeing black bear out there. Clutna Valley, where Lifetime Adventures is at, always has black bear out there. You want to talk about crazy stories and everything like that? I've actually seen.
Please do. Yeah, what's your crazy wildlife story?
Well, I've seen a moose swim across a Clutna Lake side to side. He swam a mile across that thing. That was wild. I've also seen.
Did it have horns? Was the horns sticking out too, or was it hornless? Did it have horns?
Oh my God, antlers? I don't remember now. I just remember seeing the moose out in the water and watching them swim across. But this is kind of just making me think about like where all of this is kind of taking me, right? Where like I've seen so many different natural phenomena during my time of doing this.
Like Sasquatch, like Bigfoot?
I guess that's what the bear on the glacier that I saw could have been defined as. I just saw this black thing, this big black thing, right? Like seeing a black bear crossing a glacier was another one of those moments where it was like, oh my God, what is actually happening right here? And when he saw us, he took off. I guess he felt really vulnerable and everything like that. Seeing a young doll sheep nursing from its mom. I've seen just some weird things. Like there was one day where we came across a couple of moose up in the Glen Alps walking around Blueberry Knoll, and they headed up to the top of the knoll. And we were out there for a good 4 hours, and we would just check in with them, and I would just see the two moose just standing on top of that knoll. And I've seen moose scat in so many different locations. So now I'm thoroughly convinced that there's nowhere that a moose won't go from where I've seen evidence of them, seen them up on top of these mountains, and it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
How do you protect your group? Because I don't know. I get nervous sometimes.
That's a
like
good
doing
question.
nature
Yeah.
walks. What'll happen?
I think
give a little tutorial of what to do too.
That's what we like to start off every tour with a safety briefing, right? No matter what it is that we're doing. But there's strength in numbers there.
Right.
Even with two, like you're going to be talking and the noise is going to act as a deterrent. So like 99.5% of the time you're encountering animals at a range that is acceptable.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times where we've had guides out there that got into encounters that weren't ideal.
Like how so? Like what?
Yeah. So I had this one gal, her name is Britt, and she was guiding a group. And you hear this in your safety briefing.
And does she have anything on her?
Don't run. Do not run. But when you're in the moment,
your brain says fight or flight, and a lot of times,
So we actually tell people, if you can't fight that urge, then run to me. That's what we started telling them, right? But on that day, she was out at Eagle River Nature Center walking around the Albert Loop. And it was during a period of time where grizzlies are a little bit more active, like around the August time frame.
They're feeding they're trying to consume as much food for the winter, right?
Albert Loop will actually get shut down from April 15th through November 1st every single year because of high grizzly activity looking for salmon in the area.
So if you want some hot grizzly action, that's where you go.
That's where you go. Hot grizzly. We love seeing grizzlies. I love bears. I really do. That one was really just not good though. She was walking by and
did she have any cubs with her? Because
that's
usually
the
issue. Yeah,
and she was right in the sedges, and that she spooked them. Oh, no. So then you had the combo effect of the lady trying to run away, and Britt was able to grab her hand and she said, "Stop!" Just hold your ground, stay put, and she managed to slowly back them out of the area without incident. I've also had another person run away during a grizzly incident out at Barbara Falls. And it's so we've had two people try to run both during grizzly incidents. And it's
and you tell them at a time, don't run, but obviously something happens.
And in the midst is you got to stop. So going back to what you were asking, you have the strength in numbers. We offer the safety briefing.
You have bear
not
spray?
All the times we will be in front, somebody told me one time that when you're guiding a tour, maybe you should, if the time comes when it's right, let your people go and experience a trail for themselves, right? And be out in front and everything like that, right? And I love that. I don't like being in front the whole time.
Let them walk at their own pace and kind of thing, yeah.
You guys have fun. I'm going to have fun with the camera. If we get into some sort of encounter situation in an area that maybe I should be in front, then I'm going to take the lead. But go ahead, go explore. This is where we're going. If you're going the wrong way, I'll tell you where to go.
And do you have any, bear spray with you, or some people see some tours where they've got a gun with them? What do you guys have with you when you guys go out on these?
Bear spray.
Bear spray. Okay.
We don't carry any sort of firearm in the Chugach State Park. If I don't know. There might be some places where I would be more tempted to carry a shotgun, maybe. But
I know in Kodiak, I was on a bear thingy, and they had a shotgun, which was good because we did get charged by a Kodiak grizzly. I was with Dennis Quaid, name drop, and I'm like, God, should I push him? Should I push him onto the way of the bear, Well, Dennis Quaid, he's in great shape. Not me. I would not have outran that bear. So I'm like, should I push him out of the way or push him in the way and I'll get out? So yeah.
Whoa.
So, I don't feel I feel like firearms present more of a hazard than bear spray
That
does,
makes sense.
especially with what we do. And
you're around the city as well. A lot of those trails are, around, Anchorage and things like that too. So yeah.
Now, people always ask me, have you ever had to use the bear spray? And we did actually. We actually had some really good training with our bear spray. It was actually the perfect scenario. This is kind of a fun little story.
Except for the bear, but yeah.
Well, luckily we were dealing with a juvenile, like a little 1-year-old.
Okay.
It couldn't have been very old, but out at a Cluton Lake at Lifetime, we had one run into our cabin one day. It's just like, oh my God, how are you
in your cabin? Really?
Our operations manager, Chelsea, managed to go in there and clap and get it out, but he didn't want to leave. So a day later, he came around and I had a group of about 30 out there, I want to say. And he went to the backside of the cabin, and everybody obviously wanted to take pictures. And it was, of
course,
oh, look at that,
it's so cute.
Bear.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, and this is where people are going to start being like, really, Matt, you did that, right? But we couldn't deter it with our voices by clapping or anything like that. Yeah. So I started throwing rocks at it to try to get it out of there, right? And it's just bouncing off the bear, and he's looking at me like, what are you doing, right?
Is that all you got?
So I get this big, long, 15-foot piece of alder that I have here, and I'm trying to push him away, get out of here, right? He's not moving. So I'm the guy who poked the bear with the stick, right? I have my bear I had my bear spray on.
Literally poked a bear with a stick.
If he was any bigger, I would have just sprayed him. But it's like this dude was small. And
He wasn't going to harm anybody. Yeah,
but he was large enough where I couldn't get him to move. So I was like, I'm gonna have to spray him now. And it's so funny. I work with this gal named Joanne out there, and she was like, "You're gonna spray him? No!" And I was like, Joanne, we got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. So I pulled out the bear spray and I sprayed him, and it worked perfectly. Like he ran off and everything like that. But the guy, he didn't learn, and he kept coming back.
So the bear spray, I mean, how does that work? Is it blind the bear? What is it? What does it do when you throw? Okay, irritates. Okay.
It irritates them. Yeah, it's just this pepper spray, and it irritates them. It gets in their nose. It gets them in their eyes, and they're disoriented.
They
and
want to get out.
running,
Yeah.
right. So, the funniest thing about this though was like we were all kind of joking about what happened and had some laughs, and I hear the bear's on the grill. And I was like, the bear's on the grill, and I turned around, and he's eating a reindeer sausage, and he's on top of this.
Grilling. Oh, wow.
Like, burning hot, still on grill.
It's like Yogi the Bear.
Like,
Good
didn't
Lord.
know it was on or anything. So he ran off again, and by the end of the day, he came back so often that every single one of our guides had an opportunity to go and mace the bear. So it was a perfect training opportunity. I found hair in the grill for I don't know, a week afterwards. I was still finding hair, and I'm like, should I be cooking burgers on this thing?
Exactly. Boy, this burger is hairy.
That's crazy.
Furry burger.
So
and a fur burger.
Yeah, that was an interesting event, but I thought, you would like to.
Wow.
That is a great story. No, you actually poked a bear with a stick. Talk about your website, goalaska.com. What can they see on there when they go there? Can you see some of the paths? Because I would think that some people are like, man, I'd like to go hiking. I just don't know if I can. Physically, especially if somebody's, maybe a little bit bigger or a little bit older, going, I don't know if I can do it or not.
Sure. GoHikeAlaska.com. We've got all of our tours on there. Really, really well organized, very easy to kind of click into and see all the pictures of where you're going to be going in a short most of them are about 2 paragraphs long about the route you're going to take, the trail name, all that stuff, what you're going to see, what you're going to hear, and a simple little experience suggestion block for each tour. So I'd like to think it's pretty well organized and defined. Like I've gotten good feedback on it and everything like that.
I was on it. It looked great. Yeah, it was.
We haven't really
changed
it at all.
Yeah.
It's due for some upgrades, but it's worked for me for like 5 years now. So.
Awesome.
And you asked that too. You're like, what about next year? How does next year look when it comes to tourism this year for a lot of businesses? 2025, because of the tariffs, Canada didn't come up. A lot of those folks, and I didn't know this until somebody told me, Canada is a big part of our tourist group of people. So we didn't get a lot of people from Canada, but and sometimes it depends on the company. Sometimes, we had a great year. We didn't do as well. How does 2026 look?
Yeah, well, before 2026 too, like Q2 from this past year is where we really saw a drop off, and that's where I think everybody kind of spoke up a little bit about what was going on, just like you kind of were talking to. But then it rebounded, right?
Yeah,
and you're familiar with Visit Anchorage, obviously.
And I may or may not be running for board, man.
Right.
So yeah,
that was a plug for you right there, buddy.
That was a plug.
So yeah,
vote for Brad. Visit Anchorage board.
Congratulations, by the way, on your nomination there. So
that's right. Yeah, I'm probably the only one who has a chance to get Jelly Roll up here. So if you want Jelly Roll in Alaska, vote for Brad.
There's the pitch.
Listen, I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying.
So we had a report come out in September where Jack Bonney, their communications director, was speaking to the amount of traffic that we saw here and the economic output. And it was the third best season on record, despite Q2 being as low as it was, right?
Oh, good. Okay.
And I could say that each one of the brands that we have saw small increments of growth, where I didn't really because at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh my God, bad stuff are going to happen. Right? And I was in here with Tom, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, Tom. And it turned out good. And that's where I'm kind of like looking for 2026. And with the inquiries that we've received already, I'm okay right now. I think my mentality will change as March and April start to pass.
Yeah.
But right now, it seems that it's going to be good again.
Because Alaska is one of those trips. I mean, people plan months, sometimes a year or even longer ahead of time. I mean, this really isn't, hey, let's head down to Florida for the weekend. I mean, Alaska, for most people, this is a bucket list trip, and it's something that they've planned ahead of time. Or is some of that changing? Or is some of it, hey, they're only planning a month or 2 months out? Have you seen any of that?
I think the whole Canadian and international thing is definitely, there's a point to that.
Yeah.
Like the numbers that I saw, maybe be a little bit smaller for those two demographics. But then again, I just responded to an Australian travel advisor today who's coming up with her family of 6. So
awesome.
it's I have to have a little bit more data, especially for the winter, because that's when I see a lot of internationals come over here. But just without even studying my data, it seemed like a little less international traffic this summer.
And that makes sense. Yeah. No, and that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Matt Worden, GoHikeAlaska.com. You got a Facebook page too, or MySpace? You on MySpace?
We do.
All the cool people on MySpace.
God.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I haven't made a post in so long, it might as well be called MySpace.
Who is in your top 8? No. Do you have like a Facebook page too, where people can see pictures and things like that?
We do. Yeah, I'm getting ready to. I'll probably go make my first post in a substantial period of time, either today or tomorrow. But such is the life of
hiking.
Yeah, you've been working. Yeah, it's not like
you're kind of like doing it all on your own
or something.
It's kind of tough,
Yeah.
I don't know. Tom's going to probably want to. We'll chat a little bit after this.
Tom is the guy that owns Upper One Studios, and he wants to chat about everything. We make fun of Tom. Brevity is not his friend. So, yes, he will want to talk to you. We love you, Tom. Love you.
Tom.
Brevity. Remember that. Brevity. Awesome. And the website again?
GoHikeAlaska.com. And then you have LifetimeAdventures.net. And you have AlaskaTrailGuides.com.
Awesome.
That's great. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Woo-woo.
Whoop.
Whoop.
Is that it? I think that's it.